Up to the 30, the 20, 10, 5. Torrey Horton back to the end zone.
48-yard play. Guess who? Body up the middle, making another move to the outside. 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it. Nice move by Brown. He's got space. He's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown. A record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
Down so far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to fit it in. Ramos, it does. Ramos stays up. The Suns offense 4-3 wins. Incredible effort for Ramos.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live, and we are excited to bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I am Justice. Luke is having some technical difficulties. Hopefully, he will be able to join us here momentarily. While Luke's working on his issues, we hit a special milestone this past week. We had 1,000 followers on X. So we want to thank everyone for all their support. We can't thank you enough for that. And if you're not following us on X, please go follow us on X. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening in podcast form, please rate and review. Also, don't forget the G5 Hive merchandise store is now live. The link is in the YouTube video comments, and it is also here on the bottom of your screen on YouTube. Luke, welcome.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. This is I don't know what's going on. Bad juju. I don't know. It's been a weird day. Had today off. We got obviously Thursday off for Thanksgiving. I had Friday off, so I took the 3 day for a whole week off. I thought that would be great. I'm out of my groove, out of my routine. I go to log everything in and nothing's working. So I'm using my computer speakers instead of an earbud. So let me know if you hear any echoing, and I'll have to work on that. But I kind of missed a little bit at the beginning, but you did the intro. That's usually like my thing. It's like Bizarro World. It's like upside down land over here. I was thinking about doing a really cool intro this time, kind of like a
just save it for next week.
Yeah, kind of like a D-Generation X. I'm a big wrestling guy, at least when I was younger. You know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You know, whole type
Don't
of
ruin
thing.
it. Wait, save it for next week.
All right. But yeah, not too bad. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I have a cold, so that sucks. But other than that, I'm doing all right.
For once, my oldest and my wife got sick. I think my daughter's starting to get sick, but so far, like, knock on wood, I've been like dodging this thing, and usually I'm the first. Like, once I have a kid go down, I'm usually the next one.
Yeah, it usually starts with my wife or kids. This time it started with me, so not sure where I got it or how I got it, but nonetheless, here it is.
All right. Well, G5 Hive Players of the Week. We have offensive Freshman of the Week, running back Bryson Donaldson. Bryson Donaldson is a 5'11", 200-pound running back from Central Valley Christian High School by way of El Monte, both in Visalia, California. Not sure on the pronunciation, but he led the state in California with 58 total touchdowns in 2023. He also led the state with 3,297 rush yards. Donaldson had 199 yards coming into week 13. And he got the party started for the Bulldogs with a 16-yard touchdown run to tie the game up at 7. Donaldson ends up finishing the day with 13 carries for 150 yards and 1 touchdown in the Bulldogs' big 28-22 win over Colorado State in week 13. Congratulations, Bryson.
Our defensive freshman of the week, defensive end Jawan Campbell, Jacksonville State. This is the second time that Jawan has won our freshman defensive player of the week. Jawan had 7 tackles, 3 solos, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack in the Gamecocks' victory over Sam Houston in Week 13. Jawan has had an impressive true freshman season so far with 33 tackles, 17 solos, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery for the Gamecocks here in 2024. Congrats, Jawan.
All right. My offensive player of the week, none other than quarterback Tyler Huff, Jacksonville State. Tyler Huff went 9 for 12 for 54 yards passing. However, he did a lot of his damage with his legs. Tyler led the Gamecocks with 30 carries for 177 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Tyler made the big plays when they were needed. That included a 38-yard touchdown run in the first half, and it kind of felt like the Gamecocks controlled the game from that point on. After a Sam Houston missed field goal, which could have tied it at 14, Tyler Huff led a 80-yard drive and capped it off with a 7-yard touchdown run. The win is Jacksonville State's 8th straight, and they've clinched its first berth in Conference USA championship game. Congratulations to Tyler and the Gamecocks.
My offensive player of the week was quarterback Braylon Braxton Marshall. Braylon was on fire this week. He threw for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns while adding 140 yards on the ground to lead the Thundering Herd to a big Sun Belt victory over Old Dominion in Week 13. He earned Oyster Bowl MVP in the process and kept the Herd in first place in the Sun Belt East. Congrats, Braylon. My defensive player of the week, Sean Dolak, linebacker Buffalo. Sean turned in a strong performance this week with 9 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, including a 60-yard pick six to lead the Bulls in their victory over Eastern Michigan in Week 13. Sean has been one of the best linebackers in the entire country this season. Congratulations, Sean.
My defensive player of the week, none other than linebacker Jamori Robinson, UTSA. Jamori had a big night last Friday. He had 7 total tackles, 6 of which were solos, and 5.5 were tackle for losses. On top of that, he had 4 sacks. Those 5.5 tackles for losses and 4 sacks were a school record, and those 4 sacks helped him climb the NCAA leaderboard for sacks this season, which he is currently tied for 8th with 9.5. Jamori's fantastic play on Friday helped the Roadrunners to a 51-27 win over Temple. According to NBA Jam rules, UTSA is on fire. Congratulations, Jamori, on the huge night. All right, Justice, what does the Swarm need to know? Billy, welcome, Billy.
Glad to see you, Billy. One of our best supporters here every week. Glad to have you. We're going to play a fun game here shortly. But before we get to that, we got some news and notes this week. We'll start off with some head coaching news. Central Michigan head coach Jim McElwain is retiring. He spent 6 seasons as the Chippewas head coach, where he went 33-35. He won the MAC West twice during his time. He was also won a MAC Coach of the Year award. McElwain will remain on board as head coach until a new head coach is hired, and then he will move into a new position as special assistant to the athletic director. Tulsa fired head coach Kevin Wilson just yesterday, I think. Wilson was 7-16 in his 2 seasons at Tulsa. Ryan Switzer was named the interim head coach. He was formerly the wide receiver coach and recruiting coordinator, and that's important because Tulsa has recruited extremely well for a G5. So I feel like this is kind of Switzer's audition for the full-time job. If the name Ryan Switzer sounds familiar to you, because it probably is. He was a wide receiver at North Carolina, where he was a 2-time All-American as a return specialist and a 4-time All-ACC player. He also played in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Texas State has agreed to a new 7-year contract with head coach G.J. Kinney. The contract averages $2 million per year for 7 years, with the potential for bonuses to add to that. and it runs through the 2031 season. My own opinion of this contract is it basically keeps him from moving to another G5. I know the prevailing thought was that before the season, I think a lot of people thought, hey, he's going to have, if he had the season he was expected to have, I think folks thought, he's going to get poached by the P4. I don't see that happening after what I would characterize as a disappointing season for Texas State compared to what their expectations were. And so this contract, I think, just kind of makes sure he's not going to leave for another G5, but obviously a P4 can offer a lot more than $2 million per year. But I think they're safe for at least another year as far as that goes. Yale head coach Tony Reno has emerged as the favorite for the Rice job. They're expected to have an announcement this week announcing that. Reno has been the Yale head coach since 2012. He has won 4 conference titles and is currently 7-2 with an overall record of 74-46 in his time at Yale. One interesting thing to point out, Tony Reno's son, Dante Reno, is a freshman quarterback at South Carolina who signed in the 2024 class. The 6'2", 214-pound freshman threw for 2,358 yards and 20 touchdowns as a senior, adding 8 rushing scores. He was an Under Armour All-American and an Elite 11 finalist as a high school star. And so, put 2 and 2 together. Maybe they hire Reno, then maybe Dante is going to follow in his dad's, follow his dad over to Rice with the season that Lenore Sellers is having there for South Carolina.
I'm kind of curious because obviously, Rice is a pretty prestigious academic school. Tough to get in there. I am curious, like, if your dad, or if you have a family member that's working, I guess a mom or a dad that's working for the university, you usually get tuition free or something like that, right? So, like, if you don't have the grades to get into that school, does that trump because your parents are there? Like, you still get in? Because that would be kind of an interesting, like, kind of a loophole. It's like maybe Dante maybe doesn't have the grades to get into Rice. This is all speculation. But then, like, hey, if my dad works there, then I can get in. I wonder how that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works for like employees of the university. I mean, I think, I would think it's safe to say that most universities have a normal student minimum requirement and then an athlete minimum requirement. I don't know that those are exactly the same requirements. But I don't know how like a student or a family or an employee of the university, how that plays into that equation at all.
Gotcha.
East Carolina is expected to remove the interim tag from head coach Blake Harrell. Harrell has gone 4-0 since being named the interim and has the Pirates bowl eligible, and they will end the season with their winning record. The ECU Board of Trustees will make it official at this Wednesday morning meeting. But it's already there. It's already out there. It's just not, quote, official yet. Another interesting thing that happened right around the same time the head coaching change, they changed quarterbacks. They went from Jeff Garcia to Caton Hauser, and that offense has looked dynamite since that change. So, yeah, quarterback change, a head coaching change, and now all is well in the land of East Carolina.
And we talked about it last week. Like, was it the coaching change or was it the quarterback change? I tend to lean that it was quarterback change, but also the coach made that decision, so kind of made his own bet.
Well, he made that decision, and maybe, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe he was the one like putting the clamp down on the offensive coordinator, and Blake Harrell's kind of let the offensive coordinator go. But yeah, we don't know. Lyle, we will get to that momentarily, but we'll talk about it here in a minute. It already happened in one case, but when we say stop the steal, we're talking about G5 players that deserve national recognition, like Ashton Genty winning the Heisman, Sean Dolak winning the Butkus Award, Harold Fannin Jr. winning the Mackey Award, Nick Nash winning the Bolitnikoff Award, or Mike Green winning the Hendricks Award. So, in other words, getting these guys are the top of their position. They play in the G5 and they deserve those national awards. That's what the stop the steal means. All right, getting to some player news. Florida Atlantic running back Zuberi Mobley has entered the transfer portal. Mobley has been an effective runner this year. Kind of been a 1A, 1B with him and C.J. Campbell, but he has decided that he wants to move on from Florida Atlantic. Ball State's leading wide receiver, Justin Bowick, elected to sit out the remainder of the season to preserve a redshirt year. They did not say he was going to enter the transfer portal, but who knows at this point. Central Michigan quarterback Bert Emanuel Jr. says he plans to enter the transfer portal. Bert Emanuel Jr., I guess it's been 3 seasons ago now where he was like kind of electric towards the end for Mac. The last 2 seasons he's played sparingly off and on. He got injured this year, did not play very much. So he's going to enter the transfer portal. So stay tuned to kind of see where he ends up. Moving on to some injury news. Wyoming quarterback Caden Anderson is doubtful to play in Week 14. In the event that he can't go, quarterback Evan Swoboda will be the starter. Utah State quarterback Spencer Petras left the game early in Week 13. Bryson Barnes came in and played spectacular in his absence, and Petras is doubtful to play in Week 14. Marshall running back A.J. Turner returned versus Old Dominion in Week 13, but he was not very effective in the game. He did not get very many carries, so I think he was definitely not 100%. Hopefully he'll be back to 100% this week in what will be a big game for them against JMU. Northern Illinois running back Ontario Brown has missed the last several weeks. He is once again not on the Week 14 depth chart, so don't expect Ontario Brown back this week for the Huskies. Utah State running back Rasul Faison left the game early, and he's extremely doubtful to play in Week 14, which will mean running back Herschel Turner kind of be the next man up. Texas State wide receiver Joey Hobart is injured. No word on what his availability will be for this coming week. Same with East Carolina wide receiver Chase Sewell. He injured his hamstring in Week 12, did not play in Week 13. Staying on with East Carolina, wide receiver Winston Wright Jr. also got banged up and missed this week as well. Ohio wide receiver Coleman Owen, who got hurt early in the game this past week. I think he had like 1 catch in the first quarter, and then after that he was hurt. Didn't play the rest of the game. They're saying he's a game time decision, but it is trending or looking like he will play this coming week. Wyoming tight end John Michael Gillenborg was able to return in Week 13, so he should be good to go this week. And finally, Bowling Green tight end Harold Fannin Jr. is a game time decision for Week 14. We believe that he will play. He landed weird and went to the locker room in Bowling Green's game against, I believe they played Ball State this past week. He came back with his helmet on, but he never went back in the game because they didn't really need him. So the belief is that, hey, he's likely okay and that he should be okay to play this week. But the official word is that he is a game time decision.
All right, G5 in the AP top 25. Boise State moves up 1 spot after their win over Nevada to number 11. Tulane.
They're still above Arizona State, so they're still above the Big 12 highest ranked person in the AP poll.
And then Tulane So I guess Boise State moved up after their win over Wyoming. Sorry. Tulane with their win over Navy moves up 2 spots to number 18. UNLV with their win over San Jose State. Wow, what a game that was. They move up 2 spots to number 21. Army with their loss to Notre Dame dropped 7 spots to number 25. Others receiving votes, we've got Memphis, number 27, with 46 votes. Louisiana, number 32, with 5 votes. And that is that's it.
Yeah, the I guess the interesting thing is, last week Boise State was ranked in the AP above BYU. BYU lost. Arizona State is now the number 1 ranked team in the AP for the Big 12. Boise State is still ahead of them. Tulane is still behind the Big 12 highest ranked team, as well as obviously UNLV and Army. In the college football playoff poll, which releases on Tuesday evenings, last week Boise was number 12, BYU is number 14 in that, Army was 19, Tulane was 20, UNLV was 24, and Arizona State was 21 at that time. You expect the Arizona State's going to jump up there, perhaps the number 14 where BYU sat, but we'll find out tomorrow. I would expect Boise to move up a little bit there as well. Army's going to drop, and then Tulane and UNLV probably move up. But the thing to watch is the important thing would be if 2 G5s can pass the Big 12, whoever the Big 12 champion is, right? Because if that happens, then the Big 12 doesn't get an automatic bid. It'll be the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, and the 2 G5s. The way it's written, it doesn't say that the Power 4 get automatic bid. It says the top five ranked conference champions get an automatic berth. So it's still quite feasible that 2 G5s can pass the Big 12 winner, and that would be huge. The
Big 12 is just this big cluster of 2 lost teams and 3 lost teams. Like if there's certain things play just right, that Big 12 is going to be a mess.
It is, and like I hope it happens, right? Because I'd love to see two G5s crash the party. One thing I'm sure that would happen is the next time it's up for decision, they will make sure to change that so that doesn't happen again, just because of the P4 bias. But hey, love to see it happen this year while it can happen.
I do have a question for you. Let's say UNLV gets their win. Colorado State loses. UNLV versus Boise State in the championship game. UNLV wins, but Army beats Tulane in the American Championship. Would you think that Army would have a shot? And let's say everything else falls in a way that 2 G5 teams would make it. Do you think?
I think the only way 2 G5s will make it is Boise's got to win out and Tulane has to win out. I think that's the only way. I think if UNLV or Army win out, I mean, one of them's going to get in, obviously, but they're both not going to pass the Big 12. I don't think. I don't see it happening. It's got to be Tulane and Boise State. They've got to win out. They're the 2 highest ranked teams today. I think it's got to be them to in order for 2 G5s to make the playoffs. All right. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we got the Hero Sports G5 Top 25 poll through week 13 as we head into week 14. For those that are listening in podcast form, we got number 1, Boise State, number 2, Tulane, number 3, UNLV, Number 4, Army. Number 5, Memphis. 6, Jacksonville State. 7, Louisiana. 8, Marshall. 9, Bowling Green. 10, Liberty. 11, Navy. 12, Miami. 13, JMU. 14, Ohio. 15, Western Kentucky. Tied with Sam Houston at 15. 17, Colorado State. 18, Connecticut. 19, Georgia Southern. 20, Toledo. 21, South Alabama. 22, Fresno State. 23, East Carolina. 24, Arkansas State. And 25, UTSA. We are voters in this poll, and we've talked about our differences. And if you've been watching us the last couple of weeks, you could probably guess our first biggest difference is Bowling Green. We're much higher on Bowling Green than they are. We had been having Bowling Green in our top 10. Everyone else kind of had them in the teens, like 14 or so. Everyone else has kind of got them to 9. We have them at 4, so we have them in our top 5 now. Other than Bowling Green, we have Miami at 9 versus 12 in this poll. The consensus is much higher on Liberty than we are. We have Liberty at 20. The consensus has them at 10. Buffalo, we had at 16. They were in others receiving votes. So they didn't quite make the top 25 here. And then we had Colorado State at 22. The consensus has Fresno State at 22. They played this past week. Fresno State won, but that was Colorado State's first conference loss. Fresno State has a couple. And so, I don't know, maybe there's just some recency bias there. Not sure. Probably a big reason why Liberty jumped up so far as well. Liberty won this week. I did not get to watch that game, but I can tell you up to this week, they had not impressed me at all. But yeah, those are our big differences. Anything surprise you, Luke?
Just that Liberty's at number 10. Yeah, they haven't been playing well, and when we do this, like I always get like try to like I'll put out all the records and whatnot. It's like I want to put them up there, but then like when I watch what I'm watching on the field, like I just can't. Like, oh, in a neutral field, you put Liberty against this team. Like, I'm not so sure that they're going to win that. And it's like I don't know which team is which. Like when you get to, honestly, up through those top 9 there, like I feel pretty good. Like I know what team I'm going to get every single week. Even Miami, I feel pretty good about. Everybody like JMU at 13. Like I don't know what team I'm getting. Navy's been pretty good up until the Horvath injury. But yeah, it's like those top 9. Like I feel really good about rolling those ones out there. UTSA, they've been rolling lately. ECU been rolling lately, but I guess Sam Houston. I can't remember where we had them last week, but their drop.
I think we had them in number 10. I think we have in our poll, in our votes. I think they were number 10.
They play this week, Sam Houston versus Liberty, and I would take Sam Houston. Just like their just like overall team, their defense is carrying them for sure. But I like Sam Houston.
Well, Billy wants to know who do we think's better between the top 2, Boise and Tulane. For me, it's Boise. I think offensively the teams are comparable, but I think defensively Boise State is a better defensive team than Tulane, and for that reason, I would give them the edge on a neutral field. Boise State played Oregon tough, man. They had an opportunity to win that game, and maybe they should have won that game. Tulane did not show well against Oklahoma. I mean, I know Oklahoma beat Alabama this past week, but Oklahoma has not been good at all. And Oklahoma beat Tulane pretty good. Granted, earlier in the year. But yeah, I think, for me anyway, Boise is clearly the better team. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I would go with. Now, if you were to do it in Tulane or like at Tulane, I would probably put the spread at Boise State like 1.5. I think it would be a lot closer. But yeah, overall, give me Boise State. All right. Our undefeated teams through 13 weeks, no more. No more undefeated teams in the G5 after Army Black Knights lose to Notre Dame. Our winless teams through 13 weeks, we do have one survivor. Not a good thing, though.
That's not a good thing to survive.
No, it's not. Kent State Golden Flashes lost to Akron on Tuesday night. They've got Buffalo this Tuesday. Tomorrow, if you're listening to us tonight, if you're listening to us Tuesday, it's later today. They are the only winless team in the G5, and their current losing streak is now up to 20 in a row. G5 bowl counts. Currently, we have 30 G5 teams that are eligible for bowls. I could read all of those, but I know you don't want to hear all of them. So I'm just going to give you the new additions. With wins this last week, in week 13, South Florida Bulls going bowling. UTSA Roadrunners going bowling. Fresno State Bulldogs and South Alabama Jaguars both are going bowling.
It's
right.
I haven't done the math yet, but I saw someone today that talked about the possibility of some 5-win teams are going to have to get in if things shake out just to be able to fill all the bowls. So then it goes, I think, APR with the 5-win teams. And they were saying, I think Air Force could potentially be the top 5-win APR team. So stay tuned to kind of see. We will know after next week what that situation looks like in terms of how many teams are bowl eligible and how many spots are available. I mean, they ran into it last year, but they had some 6-win teams like Jacksonville State and JMU who were on in their transition year. They became bowl eligible because there weren't enough normal 6-win teams to get in.
All right, guys, make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, a retweet. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. That's going to do it for us tonight. We're not going to do usually we do some fantasy football stuff at the end. If you want some names, go ahead DM us. We've got a couple. I've got a Fan Tracks article that will come out Thursday. I wait till after the waiver wire is gone to see what's still out there because there are going to be plenty of names still out there if you need them. But
come back and join us next week. We'll go over what happened in week 14, and then we'll get you ready for those conference championship games.
Yep, and then we'll bring you up to date on all the latest news and happening in the world of G5 college football. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, a like, and a follow. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings. Thank you all for your support. Until next week, we are the G5 Hive.
First